Hello, YouTube Reseller Mom here with Tina, and we have a special guest tonight. Super exciting. We have Samuel from BQool Repricing, and we are so excited to have him here today. We welcome everybody to the channel, and I'm going to let Samuel give himself a minute to be introduced and give us a little bit of information about BQool and what we're doing tonight.
Absolutely. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Tina. Super happy to be on your channel today. And we're going to be sharing, about how to reprice for Q4 and also answering a lot of the questions from Tina online selling community. And also we're going to take questions from the audience. So, we want you to comment below. And when you comment, you get an opportunity to also get something special later on, which Lucy and Tina might share more about. But before we start, I want to give a quick introduction of who BQool is so that you know who we are. And for BQool, we've been around for over 10 years. Yeah, so we've been in the business for more than 10 years. And we are a premium repricer. And we also were made by Amazon sellers for Amazon sellers. And we started in 2011. And we're also in the Amazon Marketplace Development Council. So it's very safe, very secure to use our software. And we're regularly audited by Amazon. And this is important because in Q4, something big is happening on Amazon. For all the software third-party vendors, we are changing from MWS API to SP API. So the MWS API was what was used for the last 10 years. But by December 31st, everyone needs to switch to SP API. And BQool is prepared for this because we're in the Amazon Development Council. So we've been preparing since last year for this. Yeah. So
well, I'm glad you're preparing. I have no idea what that is.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll share an article with you later on so everyone is aware. But this is so important because you want your repricer to work in Q4.
Yes.
And we've helped with more than 100,000 sellers have used BQool in the past, and we have helped reprice billions of dollars already. Like, how did you guys know? How do Lucy and Tina? How do you guys know BQool?
Go ahead, Tina.
So I heard of BQool through a Facebook group, and I had been selling online for a few years, and people were talking about repricers. This was before AI even came out. And I also had used Inventory Lab. And so what I liked was BQool integrated with Inventory Lab at the time. And BQool was in my budget. And so for me at the time, that was what I loved about what BQool had to offer. Since then, I've heard of other repricers that are out there. But when I've read reviews about them or what people like and don't like, I just don't see why I would want to leave BQool. I've just continue to upgrade with BQool, and I've loved it.
I started off
awesome.
I started off with a different repricer in my Amazon career. First, I started with Amazon's repricing, then I went to a paid repricer, and I hated it. I couldn't understand the integration. I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get it to do what I wanted it to do. And every time I asked for help, they kind of would spit back at me things that would make me feel like I was too stupid to understand how it worked. And I'm like, I'm not a programmer, so I don't get your programming language. And then I switched to BQool, and I've liked it for 3 reasons. One, the integration into Inventory Lab is seamless. It just works. It just works. I don't have to worry about it breaking down. And then second would be the amount of sales I get using a repricer is very nice. And then third, and probably most important, is the customer service. I have had problems throughout the years where something happens, Amazon updates or something updates, or I don't understand something, and they have been really responsive with either having a video tutorial or they are like, oh, this isn't working because of this. And it's usually my fault. Like, Eric's really patient with me because I'll be like, Eric, this didn't do it right. And he's like, yeah, because you put this in. And I'm going, oh, yes, okay. But they're responsive and they actually care about their customers, which to me, that's like huge. If
It
I
is.
feel like I'm just a number in your system, I'll drop you like nothing and move on, because there's other software out there, to be honest, and you got to stand out from the competition.
Absolutely. And I think the best thing is we continue to update and give more and more features as
Hmm.
well, including the new AI repricing features, as well as conditional repricing based on the market conditions. And I think for all the audience here, I don't know, everyone has different levels in their Amazon seller's journey,
Yeah.
but maybe what I want to do first, I want to show people what is the buy box, just so people understand. And this might sound a little elementary for some people, but for some others, they might, this will give them more knowledge
Yes.
for what the buy box is and why is it important, and why should you use a repricer instead of not using a repricer, and who should use a repricer.
Yes.
So if I could just share that with the audience, that would be fantastic.
Is that code for put up the screen?
Oh, right. Yeah, the code. Yeah. So we have the screen up here, and then I'm just going to go to Amazon.com first here. Yeah, let me just type Amazon here, and then oh, something's going on here. Okay, shop Amazon. Yeah, and then okay, this is NFL. So let's say I'm looking up like Christmas lights, for example. Uh, and then when I look up Christmas lights, I'm going to see a lot of sponsored ads right now in the top. So
Hmm.
Amazon's really moving toward that direction of ads, especially for private labels as well. But let's say we're doing arbitrage, and I'm just going to find any one of these lights just to show you guys an example. And these look like kind of generic, Christmas lights, LED, and this is kind of early for Christmas shopping, but hey, it's never too early for Christmas shopping, right? And
Right.
then so on the right hand side here, you're going to see a buy box here, right? And then whoever owns this buy box, this button here, this is what the audience see. They will get maybe 80 to 83% of the sales when they're browsing on the desktop version. And then, so let's say I pick one of the variations here, and then, then it might be, okay, this is still the same guy who owns the buy box, and then he's actually shipping from Amazon. And it looks like there isn't any other offers on this particular listing. But for other ones, there might be different people who own the buy box, and it actually rotates between different ones. And then when I'm looking in a cell phone, yeah, for all the audience, like when you're looking on your cell phone, and I'm doing the same thing again for let's say the Christmas lights here, and then I'm gonna just show you guys. See if you guys see right on the screen here, if you can see that, and then I'm looking at these Christmas lights, the same ones, and then the buy box is so much bigger. And right now that's a different person who owns the buy box as
Interesting.
well. Yeah, so you can see that the buy box on mobile shopping, which is definitely on the rise, it's even more important where there's maybe 90% of people, they would actually just go buy now and they think they're buying from Amazon, but actually it's all the third party sellers. And most of these guys are third party sellers. Some of them is actually from Amazon, but most of them, many of them, maybe 70, 80% is from third party sellers. And that's the reason why it's important to have the buy box. And there are situations where there's no buy box. Like for example, during the pandemic times, and then I'm just going to share my screen here. Is like let's say for these personal protection products, at one time Amazon would take away the buy box. They don't want people to be making a lot of money, or other times Amazon believes that nobody should have the buy box because everyone's price is too high, and then they're competing against offline, competing against on Walmart, on Target, on eBay, on other platforms as well. And this is when the buy box is suppressed. So it's also important to use a repricer to get you a better chance because maybe the price is too high, maybe for whatever reason as well. And of course, you can also go to Keepa and you can check to see if somebody did own the buy box before for that specific product. And then, so the reasons basically why you should use a repricer, there are several reasons you should use a repricer. And who is it for, right? It's for somebody, maybe you have more than 40 and 50 listings. So if you have more than 50 listings, then it takes a long time for you to go to each listing and you got to change the price. For example, when I was selling, like I would have to go and change the price for a better chance to get that buy box rotation. Yeah. And then you're trying to get your price so it goes in there. And then you're the one, when people click, that you're going to be the one who owns the buy box. And then also, let's say you have a certain sales amount. So, your time is better spent using a repricer rather than doing it manually yourself. And then we had a seller, quite a large seller who's been selling for over 2-3 years. And he thought he's really smart and intelligent. So he had a Google Doc, and then he had the Google Doc link it all to his ASINs on Amazon. And then he would go in there twice a day, and then he would then click on them, and then he would try to change the price on them manually. So that was a way that he was doing repricing, but he was only able to reprice twice a day, even though he had a very sophisticated Google Doc sheet that he was trying to do. And then the reason you use a repricer is you want to increase your buy box win percentage, which will get you more sales. And you also want to make more money so that you can spend time talking to wholesalers, doing sourcing, and you're trying to ship more products in rather than spending all this time repricing products. And also, your competitors are using a repricer. So, you might be on this listing for a long time and you're never getting the buy box. And I hate it when that happens. Yeah. So there's different reasons. And these are the main reasons. You want to make more money and you want to save time. That's why you want to use a repricer.
Yes. When I turned my repricer on for the first time, your sales go way up there. And you move products so much faster. And yeah, you're right. You don't sit there trying to reprice it. I tried using Amazon's free repricer, and that's fine if you're just starting out. There's nothing wrong with that. But once you get, like you said, over about 50 ASINs, it's exhausting, and it's just too much. You need a software that's going to work for you. And I can tell you right now, I think your AI repricer, is it still $99 a month, $100 a month?
Yeah.
It's worth every penny, because it's going to move that much and more and make up. It's going to pay for itself. It's a no-brainer. It's like Inventory Lab. If you are on the cusp of Inventory Lab will save you time, money, and allow you to process that many more things. And the same is with a repricer. Now, you had some slides for us. Do you want to do questions or go through some of the slides?
Well, I could quickly talk about Rulebase
Yes.
for people who are new to repricing. And then I could talk about how is that different from AI, and just to reflect back what you just mentioned, like why is it a good investment? Well, first of all, we have 14-day free trial, so you don't really have to pay to try it out, and you can see if it increases your sales or not, right? You be the judge, not me, not what Lucy or Tina is telling you. You can try it out for yourself, right? Like I definitely believe in testing out the product. And then also just think about this, right? Let's say you have 100 items, and then by using a repricer, let's say you get the buy box 10 to 12% more. Let's say you have 100 items, your turnover, you sell maybe 50 a month. And then for those 50 products, instead of selling 50 products, you sell 5 extra products. And then so for those 5 extra products, let's say each of them were $30 each. Those 5 extra dollars, that'd be another extra $150. And then let's say you raise the price for, let's say, many of these products. Again, that goes, together it would be maybe $200-$300. So even with 50 listings, you might make $200-$300 more extra, which was going to cover your repricing costs over and over again. And of course, if you have a lot of listings, then it easily covers it. And of course, it also saves you the time that you would have to spend as well. Now, there's several different types of repricer, and there's also different rules as well. So they're not all built the same. So today, I'm going to just quickly go through the 3 different types, which will help you make a better decision when you are deciding what's best for you, right? Like what is good. And of course, you can do the free trial as well. And for all our audience, we'll be giving out something very special for all the people who comment. Yeah, so comment in the chat, put your question, and the people who have the most questions and also answer the questions that we ask, like we will give you a prize. Yeah, we'll give you something that you can use immediately, which is going to help your business. Yeah, so it's great. Yeah, and then so the first question I just want to throw out, and this is going to help us also know what to reprice, is what kind of products are you planning to sell in Q4, and then type them in the chat below. Put them in the chat. Yeah, type it in the chat. What kind of products do you plan to sell? And then now I'm going to talk a little bit about the different repricing rules that we have available, and also who is it for as well, and what kind of products is it? Yeah, so let me just share my screen again, and here let me just share my screen, and I'll just quickly go through some of the different repricing that we have here. So the first type of repricing. And I'm going to give you some recommendations that you can take right away, no matter which repricer you're using, and also no matter what BQool plan you're on too. Yeah. So if you're using Rulebase, okay, if you're using Rulebase, typically we want to match the buy box price. And so in BQool, there's 3 types of repricing rules. We have the rule-based, and then we have the AI, and then we have the conditional repricing. And then the difference between the rule-based is that you have to do everything manually. So it's you have to select everything. So for example, let's say we're trying to match the buy box of an item. We'll pick match buy box, and then in the next screen here, you can decide who you want to compete against. And then one of the tips I want to give people, if you're using rule-based, if you're an FBA seller and you're competing against Amazon, then typically you're going to have to go lower by 3%. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for you to get the buy box in our experience. And I'm talking about items that are about $25 to $40. Okay, that's kind of the price range that I'm talking about for different types of products. And then also you might have to go 10 cents lower. That's another way. So 3% or 10 cents. So that is one recommendation if you're using rule-based. And then if you're FBA versus FBM, then you can actually make 10 cents more. But I'm making the assumption that your account has good feedback. You've been selling for a little bit, so you're not a new seller. If you're a brand new seller, it's going to be very hard for you to win the buy box without lowering your price. And typically there's non-featured sellers, which means you're a new seller. You're just starting to sell this item. You're going to sell it for a little while, and then you can then be eligible to get the buy box, usually about a month. So this is some requirements for you to get the buy box and get more sales. Now there's a lot of different selections for the rule base, but I'm just telling you what the most important ones. And then the other important point is what to do to stay in the buy box. So to stay in the buy box, you can either lower your price or increase your price. If you lower the price, you're going to get more profit for that item. So typically what we see the large sellers do, they'll try to match the buy box price. So they'll actually use these settings, and they'll actually use 0.00. And then so they're going to lower and raise depending on the buy box price. So this is typically what they do. And there's another thing, they use a scheduler, and different people have different thoughts about this. But for the scheduler, it's more like an oscillation strategy. So for the oscillation strategy, or some people call it the yo-yo strategy, you can set a time period, perhaps the low traffic hours from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m., depending on your time zone. And then you can go up to your max price. And then what you're trying to do, you're trying to reshuffle the repricing. You're trying to reshuffle the landscape. And this usually will only work if there's less than 10 offers. Because if there's more than 10 offers, somebody's going to lower their price. Because like there's a lot of new sellers and they just want to offload their products, so they're going to lower their price. So this is normal, right? So this is a strategy to do oscillation. You're trying to move the average price up and hoping other repricers going to follow your price up. So this is called the oscillation strategy. So what I showed here so far, this is pretty typical and this is normal. And if you're not using this right now, other people are already, because what I'm sharing, this has been years and years and years. This is nothing new. So that's why you can see Lucy and Tina, they're not amused. This is normal. Like they've seen this before. But what kind of repricing do you guys use, Lucy and also Tina? Like what kind of repricing do you use?
I use both the AI and the conditional repricer.
Okay.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
when the conditional came out, I did a lot of my listings on the conditional repricing because I thought this is a kind of a neat feature.
Okay, fantastic. And then I'm just looking at the chats here and just seeing if there's any questions. And yeah, there's a lot of people talking about, okay, they're going to sell games and toys and beauty products, also grocery items. Karen, shout out to you. Also anything that sells, and also dog toys. And then Nate was talking about the oscillate buy box. Yeah, so shout out to all the people, you guys watching. Big thanks. And there's also Nate said the conditional based as well. Okay, so some people are already using the conditional repricer here as well. And then so I'm going to just tell a little bit difference between them because somebody was asking about it. And then for Rulebase, there's like more options where you pick who the competitors are and what happens. How do you get the buy box? And then also what happens when you when you do get the buy box? So you have 3 more selections to pick. Whereas the AI, the way that it works, how it works is like this. This is how the model works. And then there's maybe 20, 30 different factors that goes into who owns the buy box. And it's like a black box. But at BQool, we have maybe over 10 years of experience, and we've looked through this, and then we've designed a AI algorithm with machine learning, and then so we've kind of cracked the code partially because it keeps evolving. So we continue to crack it, right? So that's why I continue to use BQool. But then part of it is a centralized learning model. So we actually have a centralized learning model based on the entire Amazon. And this is based on our 10 years of experience of building this modeling. And then based on these different factors, we found out I'm just giving these 3 tips, out to people. The 3 most important factors of deciding who owns the buy box. One is the price. One is the fulfillment method. If you're using FBA or FBM is very different. And the reason is because Amazon, if you're using FBA, they will actually reward you because you're paying more. You're paying the fulfillment fees. And they also can guarantee the shipment for the Prime members, they're able to more guarantee the shipment time. And then also where you're based. So if let's say you're based in Washington, and then the customer you're selling to is also based in Washington, and then when you sent the FBA shipment, you also send it to Washington to a very close warehouse center, then you have a higher chance to win the buy box. And then so what is really interesting is the buy box actually will appear, different people will own the buy box in different states across our country here, across the United States. And then so what really matters, we take the centralized learning model. We know we know how much weight to put on each of these different variables. And then that's based on the centralized learning model, based on historic buy box price patterns for the last 10 years when we collected all the data. And then how do we use billions of data points, right? You're like, billions of data points, that's ridiculous. That's impossible. Well, there's maybe 20, 21, different variables. So we take all those factors, we look at all of these different ASINs, and then we factor that in years and years and years. And so that's where we get the billions of data points. So that is the centralized learning model. And then the second part of it is the account-based learning model. The account-based learning model is, let's say, for the specific ASIN. Once you toggle on, and then for the AI repricer, then you will need to then actually learns that listing. So it profiles the different competitors on that listing. Then it would either increase the price or lower the price, and that's where the price prediction part comes in, or it keeps the price around the same, depending on which AI rule that you pick. So Lucy and Tina, which AI rule do you guys use, just to help our audience to understand, and how do you pick which AI rule that you use?
First, I wanted just to point out to everybody real quick that data source with all of the things that go into the buy box, that is really a cool picture, because there's so many things that go into the buy box.
Yeah.
Second, I'm getting to you, Bobby. I see your question, and we will get to that. And same with Teresa. We'll answer your questions in just a minute. I personally have really found the AI equalizer to be my favorite, especially on replens. I do a lot of replens, a lot of grocery type replens, just replens that, I sell 20, 30 of a month, and I source from locally around here. So when I go into the stores, I can just go grab and replenish them. And when I'm listing them, I will see sometimes that the price is tanked. I still stick it in at mine, and I still get sales, because that price will dip up and down, and I get the price that I'm wanting, and I make the sales I need per month. So that's been my go-to, is the AI equalizer.
And
Yeah,
I
definitely,
copied
that's a good
Lucy.
choice.
I had copied Lucy because we've tried, and me personally, I've tried different strategies on different listings to try to see, like, okay, is one selling more than another with this strategy? I don't know that I have the perfect formula. And then I also wanted to try the conditional repricing on some of the newer items I was sending in, because there are so many options within BQool that, in all honesty, sometimes I get overwhelmed, like, well, which one is better? Because there are these choices, and so some of them I started using even on listings that I'm the only seller, because it's my listing I created, and it's not left open that other people can get on it. So I played around with, does it matter if I use the repricer or not when I know I'm the only seller? And I did find a feature in there that will, I don't remember which repricing it is because I don't have my screen open, but even if I'm the only seller, BQool will still make it fluctuate if people are visiting that listing and not buying it. But I don't recall what setting that one is. And that might be a rule-based one. So like Lucy, I asked her, which one is working best for you? And that's when she told me the equalizer. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to switch some of these to equalizer.
See,
I mean,
that's why,
I use a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why, all the audience, you guys need to join, the online selling with Tina, and with the group with Lucy and Tina. So you will have someone to follow and mentor you. Yeah, this would save you a lot of time, because look, Tina, she listened to Lucy and she's getting good results, right? Yeah, so it's working great for them, right? And then I'm just looking at I'm looking at the chat here. And then I just, there's a couple of questions here that I'll just, quickly get to. And one's from Bobby, right? So Bobby says, can I turn on to repricer? Okay, so shout out to you, Bobby. What happens if you turn on the Amazon automated pricing while turning on the BQool repricer? Okay, so I'll just quickly answer that question. And then to answer your question, Bobby, we wouldn't recommend that, because if you imagine, let's say you're dating two people at the same time, right? It's kind of like you are not focused. Yeah. But what's and if you date two people, you'll probably spend a lot of money, right? Like double the money I'm not speaking from experience. I'm talking about other people, of course. But the point is,
Now we know your dirty
if you
secrets.
turn on the Amazon automated repricer while you have the BQool repricer, it would conflict. And then the Amazon automated repricer usually goes down, and there's no incrementally repricing up. Yeah, so you might get pricing errors, and there'll be conflict and it wouldn't work. And then even some of your listing might sell for lower than what you set the price for. So you don't want to do that. So you definitely want to pause the Amazon automated repricer or the other repricer you're using and just use the BQool repricer to get the good results that you want. And then another question I'm looking at here is from Mother Teresa Flips. Okay, Mother Teresa Flips, shout out to you. What is the turnaround time for BQool to load inventory lab info? And then you said it seems like several days. Well, I don't want to advertise, but we are the first one who did the integration with Inventory Lab. So we're actually strategic partners with Inventory Lab. Shout out to the Inventory Lab team, to Jeff, to all the team there. And then basically it's 12 hours. So it should be 12 hours. So every 12 hours, we pull the inventory cost from Inventory Lab. And then how are we different from other repricer is that you could actually export your mins and max inside Inventory Lab if you set the min and max in Inventory Lab, and you can actually upload them into the BQool repricer in the upload file. And we actually have videos that teach you. You could also go to Inventory Lab support site or BQool support site to find that. Now, if it's taking longer than 12 hours, then please email our support. We have one of the best support. We have support@bqool.com. We also have live chat from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. This is in the Eastern time zone. Yeah, so we have one of the best support teams. Thank you, support team, for helping. Thanks to the team there. And then so I'm just going to jump into some other questions that people have already asked. And then so I'm just going to share, I'm just going to go to my screen here, and I'm just going to share the question here about this is the question that somebody asked. So I have it on here. I don't typically talk about other repricers, but this is the question that was asked by one of the
yes, in our
community
Facebook
members.
group, this was asked.
Yes. Yeah. So the question here is, can it raise the price? So I'm just going to talk about the BQool part. I'm not going to talk about our competitors, but we've been in business for 10 years. We're also in the Amazon Development Council, so it's very safe to use our product. And we start at $25, so extremely affordable. Yeah. So anyway, but can it raise the price without the crazy uptick? And then I often put the max. I do know I can put max price, and they often leave it open on purpose. So the first tip for you is first you should put a max price. And how do you pick your max price? Usually you don't want to go over ROI 150%. What I would usually do, two ways, okay? Two fail-proof ways. One, I go to the competitor analysis, and here I will show you how to do that. I will show you. So I'm in a test account right now here. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly log in here to my test account again, and then I'm just gonna show you, and this would be in your account. I'll go to the competitor analysis. I'll click on this. And then I'm going to see, all the different competitors on here. So the competitor analysis is free for every single license for BQool. And then I'll see what the lowest price is and the highest price. And this will give me the top 20 that Amazon has allowed. And then then I know that if I set my max price at the max price of someone else, then Amazon will not delist me. So one of the issues is pricing errors. And it can happen a lot more because I saw it in the group. It's not one of the questions that we have, but I saw somebody in the group that had pricing error. And the pricing error is a terrible, terrible thing, because if you have pricing error, then your listing is not selling for you. It's like, like you are going to the battlefield and you don't have that gun there, or maybe that's not a good analogy, but you don't have that listing should be active, because if it's not active, it's not performing, and you're actually losing money that you should be making. And then so you look at the competitor analysis, right? And you can find out, what's the highest, what's the lowest price, and then you can set your mins and max like that. And then you can also go to Keepa. Okay, so we strongly advocate you to use Keepa or to use other software out there. There's also other ones out there, but there's camel, camel, camel. There's keep. You could check, and we also have a big central. We also have a tool that's only $10, but you could see what the historic price is. So you don't want to go over the historic high price because that could also potentially get you delisted. Now back to the question here, and this question was regarding about raising the price. So we would recommend you to use the AI rule, because the AI difference than the rule base is the AI will actually incrementally reprice. So the AI will give you a better chance of not getting delisted. And it also would, so there's some benefit. It would actually help you increase, your price. And it does incrementally. And let me just show you an example. All right, because I could keep talking the talk, but let me show you actual case study. Okay, actual what happened on Amazon. So
Show us.
Look at
Show me the money.
Yeah, show you the money, right? Yeah, like McGuire. But anyway, so and Tina, I'm just curious, right? Like, so you were in Las Vegas, right?
Yes.
Did you ever meet any celebrities? Like
I've met lots and lots of celebrities.
Oh man, I'm so jealous. Yeah, I personally I've met Al Pacino, but he completely ignored me. Completely ignored me. I tried to go take a picture with him, but he was in his acting mood, and his bodyguard just told me, step away. Yeah.
Step back, you peasants.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, but anyway, like I read online that there's an acting method that you really get into the character. Yeah. But anyway, I'm jealous, Tina. But anyway, back to this case study here. Okay, it's very serious talking about this case study. So this is a listing that Amazon was on. There's actually over 10 different competitors on here. So our BQool user, he actually got the buy box against Amazon, and he's actually using the AI sales maximizer. That is what he's using. And then you can actually see how we incrementally reprice. And this is how you can tell whether or not the repricer you're using, whether or not they actually have AI with machine learning, or they're more of just a rule-based repricer. This is how you can tell. Okay, because a lot of people, like the word AI this, AI that, it gets thrown out around. So in here, in the bottom section here, like we actually lost the buy box to Amazon. And then so we actually have to lower the price by different amounts. We're trying to get the buy box. And then once we get the buy box, then we're increasing the price again incrementally by different amounts. So we go up by 2 cents, by 4 cents, by 2 cents, as much as you can while you keep the buy box. So we actually do incrementally repricing for the AI repricer. If you're doing rule base, if you're really, really intelligent, and you've been selling this listing for years, okay, maybe you can know exactly how much you need to increase it by. But you're making the assumption that there's not a lot of new competitors coming in. In our experience, if your listing is making money, somebody's going to jump into that listing. Yeah, it's kind of like a business as well, right? And don't feel bad, because that's how businesses are run. Like if you're making tons of profit, then people will be going into that business. So it's the same way. And then so for the AI repricing, it actually incrementally reprices up. And then the next question I'm going to answer from the audience is, this is talking about, which AI rule, what's the difference between sales maximizer and the sales booster? And then also how you can, the question is actually, can you show the AI rules, the different rules mix, and also with sell quickly mode? So like how could I sell quickly? Okay, and then what we would recommend you, 2 recommendations. One is you can use the AI sales booster, and then also if you want to liquidate. So this is talking about if you want to really liquidate, like the AI sales maximizer, then you could use the AI sales maximizer. So what kind of products would you liquidate, for example? I'll just give you some real life examples here. So let's say I have a cell phone case here. Okay, and I'm not on the newest iPhone 14 Pro, unfortunately. But I was playing around with it the other day just to see all the new features they have. And then I found out that, the iPhone Pro, the front camera is actually the same one as I have. But what is important is also the accessories around the iPhone 14 Pro, and they're different than what my current phone is. So if I have stock of, let's say, the iPhone 13 Pro, and I have the case for it, what's going to happen when the iPhone 14 Pro comes out? Well, definitely, I'm going to probably have to lower my price, and I probably have to sell more of these out, especially if I have 100 of them in stock.
Yeah.
Because the new phone has come. And this is the same for video games as well. If I have like a newer version, let's say I have NBA, NBA 2K22, and then NBA 2K23 comes out, then everyone's going to buy the NBA 2K23. Also, I used to sell PlayStations. Okay, so if the PlayStation 5 is out, and then this PlayStation 4, then definitely the 4 price is going to really tank. So definitely, so it might be depending on the product. But if you want to liquidate quickly, and let's say, and this is your expertise, Tina, so I'm going to cue you. What do you do with seasonal items? Because and then one of the tips that you gave us on your show, when you came on our show, is that you should have stock all the way to January, because a lot of people, they will still be buying products with using coupons, using the gift cards. And they also might return gifts to buy other gifts on Amazon. So you told us last time that you should keep stock until
after
January, until the end of January, until after the holiday.
That's right.
But, yeah. But what
like
do you do with
holiday.
items? Yeah, after every holiday. But what do you do if there's products that are seasonal and you can't sell them? There's a lot less demand for it.
Right. So when there's a lot less demand for it, as long as I can still profit, I will use the liquidation setting for the repricing. But I still can set in my price parameters. So just because I put it on liquidate does not mean I'm losing money, but I am lowering my price to what I set as my rock bottom, even if that means I just break even. And that's just on inventory that I didn't sell out of all of it. So I try to sell it first because I don't want to have to pull it out and get it back. But if I do, once I feel like, okay, I've ran the liquidation as low as I'm willing to go and it's done moving and I have to pull it out, I will pull out inventory. I will set it listed as merchant fulfilled, or I will possibly repurpose it. I will repurpose it if it was an item that just never did sell. And I will create a bundle out of it. Or if it's something that I can just redo the listing and make it better. But that, of course, that has nothing to do with repricing in and of itself. But as far as a repricing tactic, that's what I do.
But I think, these are all very good tips for people, because we're not really in just a repricing business, right? We're in the Amazon business. So we want to help all the viewers to get the best sales and the best sales revenue, especially in Q4.
Yeah.
What about Lucy? What would you recommend for when do you start, liquidating some of the products? Let's say the seasonal products that you might have. Maybe it's a toy, maybe it's a game, maybe it's a decoration. In your experience.
Boy, it just kind of depends on what I need at the moment. Sometimes I need to get capital back. Sometimes it's the end of the season. Sometimes it's close to expiration. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to throw it out. It's garbage if it expires. If it's something like Easter baskets, well, I'll just recall them and then I'll sell them next year. What can you do? I recalled some Easter eggs and I'm like, oh, I'll just make a listing and I'll sell those on Amazon. And they sold in like a week. I mean, it was ridiculous in the middle of September, or maybe it was August. Wow. It was a couple weeks ago. So it just depends on what the product is.
Yeah.
But, if I have toys right now, I'm just going to hold on to them because we're going into Q4. Yeah. Whereas if this was January, then I'd be lowering the price and just getting what I can and moving on with my day. We have kind of two questions that I want to just throw out on the table real quick here. Bobby asks how to set a reasonable min and max. I'm going to say that's really dependent on you. I set my minimums at 30% ROI as a standard going in for most things. Sometimes close I'll set at 50% ROI, but you got to find what works for you. Some, when it's an older product, I'll push that ROA down to 0%. Just give me my capital back at this point. I just want my capital back and I want to move on. And then Nate brings up a good point on pricing errors, which has been kind of a hot topic this last couple of weeks. There was a whole bunch of pricing errors. Did you hear that and or be involved in that at all?
Yeah, we've heard during this period of time, like, Amazon's really going in and trying to, keep their prices lower for the different sellers. Yeah, so for BQool, like, if there's a pricing error, like what we would recommend you to do, the first step is you need to go into your Amazon Seller Central account and look at that specific account, and you need to set a min and a max. So that is required, and usually there's going to be a recommended min or max by Amazon. And again, you could keep a chart, you could check the historic sales of that product, and then you can set that max. Usually it's the max that has the issue. Usually if it's very low price, Amazon will let it sell. They don't, they're getting commission. They're getting 15%. And if you're using ads, it's up to 30%, for every sale. So they're happy, the turnover. So what we've also heard is that for some sellers, they also have some limitation in their warehouse, like of how much they could send, which is similar to last year and during the holiday season. So, back to some of the tips that we would recommend people, and this is not just about the pricing errors. To solve the pricing error, what you would do, you would go into Amazon Seller Central, you would set a min and max of that product. Inside BQool, you'll have a more narrow than what's in Amazon. So on Amazon, let's say if you set the min at $11 and then $40 as the max, then within BQool, then you're going to put $12 and $39. This way, it will not trigger, Amazon will not think that your pricing has an error from the repricer. So that is how you can solve that. And then in BQool, if there's any the listed listing, it actually has a separate tab, and I can just show everybody here just to see where that is, so that people can see. I'm going to just share my screen here just one more time here, and then so people can see where that tab is.
You took it off, so you got to add it back in again. There we go.
All right. Yeah. So I added back in, and then it's this tab here. There's the listed listings. So you could actually find that in there. But once you fix the listing, then in Amazon Seller Central, then it would go back into BQool. Yeah. But for those listings, you got to pay attention that what you set in Amazon is more wide than what you set inside BQool. Yeah. And then one of the tips that you mentioned was also very good, because you said about like having some of your stock as FBM and also some of it as FBA, because you might have some storage limits. Also, you might not want to pay the peak fulfillment fees as well. So it would allow you, because now you're paying around once for the September, October to December, you're paying about $2.40 per cubic foot. And then if there's long-term storage, it's about $6.90, and then plus 15 cents. And on top of that fee, you're paying on an average about 30 to 30 cents. Well, 20 cents to 50 cents, depending on how big your product is for the fulfillment. And that is another fee, in October, starting on October 15th to January 15th.
Yep.
So, just going to some of the tips, because we're getting to the we're racing toward.
Most people should be doing a lot of merchant fulfilling during this time anyway, because you can, and because everyone else is also merchant fulfilling, so it doesn't make it so hard to compete like it normally would when you're competing against the FBA sellers, because the inventory is moving a lot faster.
Yes. So we have two strategy that we recommend you to do. And then we didn't talk a lot about the conditional repricer, but this is actually something like earlier we talked about the 5 different AI rules. And then just to let everybody know what Lucy said earlier about she doesn't want to lower her prices for the toys, especially in Q4, is because she could probably get more profit from them. In that case, we would probably move the rule that she's using. Let's say if she's using AI equalizer, which is very good for replens, then should move it to the profit booster so she could actually get more profit. And this will actually try to incrementally reprice up more than if it was on the AI equalizer. So that's kind of like the difference, because now it's more focused on profit. And then for the profit booster, for the profit maximizer, that may be an item that you don't have a lot of quantity left that you know is going to sell like hotcakes for sure. Like for sure, you know that's going to sell. And then so in that specific case, it's then you could really use the profit maximizer to get the most profit from your item. Now, we talked all about that, the AI repricer, and then you could actually use all 5 of the AI rules with conditional repricer. So I'm just going to quickly show people how you would do that. And then I give people 2 strategies. So really depending on your products, the first strategy, for lower margin products, for products that are taking up your warehouse and actually lowering your IPI score, and if you want to get more warehouse space in Amazon during the holiday time, and then you also want to get rid of the products that are really, they're really taking up. You're paying long-term storage fees for them, and you're paying the additional fulfillment fees on top of them as well here. And then so the first thing, I'll just show you guys is how to do a liquidation strategy. This is like you really want to get the product out, you really want to sell it out. So I would go into, this is our repricer. I'm going into the repricing rules here, and I just want to show people how to set that up. And I add a new rule here. And then I'm picking conditional repricing. And then I'm just going to go to the advanced one. And I'm going to call this Q4 strategy 1. Okay, so you guys could copy this if you want, or you can make adjustments according to your product. Q4 strategy number 1. And this is if you want to, liquidate products, liquidation. Okay, so this is like if you just want to get rid of the products, low margin products that aren't going to get you a lot of money, but it's going to, you're going to pay a lot to keep it. And then in here, you can go actually by inventory age. And let's say you could select, something that has been over 61 and 90 days. So this is, you already have it sent into Amazon over 61 and 90 days. And then you could actually change the rule. You could actually change the min price, or you could actually go to a specific price. For example, you can go, to the buy box price, or higher or lower, or go to the lowest price. In our case, would use rule plus min price. And using Lucy's example, maybe she had 30% ROI before, but she really just wants to get rid of this product. Then, I might go to 20%. I might type 20% here. That's too much. 20%. And then I'm going to add another condition, because I want to make sure that this product isn't selling before I change it to a more aggressive rule or lower my ROI. So the 2 main benefits of conditional repricing, which is available for all the accounts that have AI, is you can change rules automatically. So you could use all 5 of the AI rules depending on the market conditions. So you can use the AI sales maximizer all the way to the AI profit maximizer, depending on the quantity of products sold, depending on the sales as well. And then, so anyway, in my setting, I'm going to also put the units sold has been less than 1 unit. So basically there's no sales. There's no sales for this product in the last 7 days or the last 14 days or however long period of time. And so that would be, the first condition I put. And then the second one here, I could also go to OR, and I can go to inventory age again. And this will, now I'm going to go and select, it's more than 90 days. So if I have a product in 90 days, then it's going to go into that long-term storage. Like I'm paying for the peak season, the storage cost. So $2.40 for a cubic foot, or 15 cents per item. And then here, again, I'm going to go to rule plus min price. And then I'm going to go, and now I'm not going to make it more aggressive. I can go put on the AI sales maximizer, and maybe I'm just going to break even now. So I could actually just break even now. And I'm making some assumptions here. Again, I'm making assumptions. Making assumptions here that the units sold in the last, let's say the last 30 days, I haven't got any sales for this item as well. It's less than 1. And then for everything else, I could still have it on my AI equalizer. So I'm still getting an equal amount of sales and profit. And then I can just set this, and this will be my first strategy for Q4. So I can actually decide if the product is not selling, I can make it to a more aggressive rule and also lower my ROI depending on your product. And then I want to show you a second strategy. So that's the first strategy for products that are low margin, that aren't going to get you a lot of profits. You want to just quickly offload it, switch on to more, and you can also free up your warehouse space, get a higher IPI score, and then you can send in the product in. So that is the strategy number 1. The strategy number 2, and I'm just going to do this last strategy, and there's so many other strategies, but I'm just giving you the 2 most important ones just for you to understand. Again, I'm going to go to the conditional repricing, okay? And now for the second one here, I'm going to actually now select, I'm going to match buy box. So this is for products that you think you're going to be able to sell. Okay, so I'm going, again, in conditional repricing. And here I'm selecting maybe for the buy box wins, I'm deciding if you want the buy box or not. So that is my kind of my criteria, or actually, and also the available quantity. So for the buy box wins here, I'm picking, let's say, buy box win percentage. So I'm selecting buy box. Give me a second here. Let's find it. So there's buy box wins, and there's also the buy box percentage. So there's 2 settings here that's available here. Yeah, so here I'm selecting, this is buy box wins, this is the last 24 hours. I can select the listings that did not win the buy box. So these products, listings that did not win the buy box, but in the second strategy, I'm actually trying to match buy box or increase the price. So this is another strategy. This is a third strategy. Okay, so I'm going to just change it to the correct strategy. So this is again a way to sell out the product or change the rule. And then, but what I want to show you is to match buy box. So I'm actually going to pick buy box win percentage. I'm just looking for that. I just can't find it right now. It's strange. Yeah. So, but anyway, buy box wins. I'm going to use the other one. Then buy box wins in the last day is greater than maybe 90%. And then in the last 7 days, maybe I've sold, maybe usually I sell maybe 1 item a week, but I'm actually selling 2 items. Okay, so then I can actually reset the ROI. Maybe originally it was 30% for my min. I can actually set it to 40%. And then I'm going to pick maybe the AI profit booster. And then I can again do the setting again. I can go here. I can go to buy box wins last 24 hours, and then here, if it's lower than, if it's less than 90%, if it's less than 90%, if it's less than maybe 50%, then I could put it on a different rule. I could put it on maybe the AI equalizer. And then my ROI, I still keep it, to by 30%, for example. So I could actually make this differentiation. And then I could also use by the number of sales. So for the sales in the last 7 days, again, I have less than, in this example, actually, no, I'm picking quantity of it, the units sold. So the ones I like to use is the units sold. So this is a good combination for you to use. And then so the units sold the last 7 days, let's say, is less than 1. So I'm not getting any sales. Then I put it to a more aggressive rule. So you get the picture. You can build it up as different blocks depending on what you want. And you can actually raise your price. You're also able to match the buy box price here. So you can actually go to the buy box price minus or plus a certain percentage or number. So we will have a lot more tips for you guys. And then we actually have something very special. Yeah. Is there any questions from the audience for
Yes, we
these
do
settings?
have
I'm just going to.
we have a couple questions.
Okay.
I'm going to start at the top here with Mother Teresa Flips. What happens to the ASIN on BQool if you manually change it in Seller Central?
Okay. So if you manually change the price in Seller Central, depending on which BQool plan that you are, but if you link your plan up to BQool, then it will actually start repricing based on your mins and max. So it's more important to actually set the correct mins and max. And then when you change your price on Seller Central, it's your price. So it appears as your price. So inside the BQool setting, if I could just share my screen again, let me, if you don't mind, I could just show everyone what will happen. This, depending on how often your repricing is 15 minutes, or if it's instant repricing, which is as fast as 2 minutes. That's the limit that Amazon allows. Then this part here, your price plus shipping, this will change. But it would change temporary, and then depending on the min and the max price, it would then reset to what the market price is, depending on your min, your max price. Yeah, so we suggest to use the min and max price. Those are more important, unless you set your price on Amazon incorrectly the first time. Like if you made it's supposed to be $89.99, you set it to $890.99, then you'll probably even get the listed as well. Yeah, so yeah, so okay. So
the next question.
Other questions? Yeah.
Yes, we got a couple more here. Any AI rule that can help get the buy box more often? Have selling prices sometimes the same as other sellers? No luck trying different rules. Account healthy, no price errors. I think what you were just showing is going to be my strategy for getting the buy box, setting those conditional things. Conditional settings, like if I don't get the buy box, then I want it to do this. And if I do get the buy box, I want it to do that. I think that's kind of the answer to that question. Am I wrong, Samuel? Or
you are correct. Yeah. And should I just quickly just share that again so people can see that?
Yeah. You can share that again. And I was just thinking while you were talking about all that I really kind of want to dive in and set some really specific ones up for seasons. Because like having all of those set up going into Halloween and then getting out of Halloween would be really fun to have. I could probably spend days setting up different.
I know, that's what I've been thinking too. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have 547 different entitle them Halloween, Easter, Christmas, toys.
Yeah, but once you set it up, I mean, it'd be the same thing next year to, all the Easters that you want competitive in March, but then.
Yeah, and then it's already set and done for you. That's why I said you can really get lost and be cool because there's so many options. It gets overwhelming. And one thing I want to say when you said what you do with your min and max, and this is partly what I do and partly a question, is when I first send in my inventory to Amazon, from Inventory Lab, I've sent out my shipment and I'm going into BQool and setting my pricing for these new items I've sent in, and I have my max. I never set my minimum to be as low as 30%. I always put my minimum to be like 50% or 40%, because there are people who also are using repricers, and they do that beat you by a penny. So let's say my price is $13.99, and then theirs goes to $13.98. And then let's say mine goes to $13.98 to match them. Then they go to $13.97, right? And now we have this race to the bottom. I don't want to race to the bottom to 30%. So that's the reason why I set my minimum at a higher, let's say 50%. And because I don't want this seller and I to chase each other down to the bottom. And so that's why I set my minimum much higher. Now, if my item has been at Amazon, let's say for 2 weeks or 1 month, and I haven't sold any, then I will go in there and manually investigate that listing and then possibly set my minimum to go lower. I just feel like if a lot of sellers, if we're out there using repricers, I try to avoid setting my minimum at 30%. I want to make more money. I don't want my minimum to be 30. I want it
I
higher.
agree, but what happens to me, Tina, is like, okay, we're going into Halloween, right? So my Halloween candy is it's starting to hit the warehouse. Well, me and like hundreds of other people are going to have their Halloween stuff hitting the warehouse. And so I'll start off with, oh yeah, I'm getting the buy box. That looks great. I'm doing good. Then day 3, there's 6 other sellers and they've started to compete. So then I would want a different parameter on that item if that happened. So that's why I got to get in there and spend some more time setting up the conditional repricers. Did you have the settings? Is that ready to go, Samuel?
Yes.
Okay.
I have the settings for Cynthia. Yeah. So shout out
Yeah.
to Cynthia. Yeah.
So
For
Cynthia,
asking.
do a pause and take a screenshot so that you can save that and follow up with it later. And I will be doing the same right here. Boom, boom, and I'm
Yeah,
done. I
so
love doing that.
yeah, so
The
there
next,
there are several things that when you're setting this up, like you can pick the listing that did not win the buy box, and then you can choose for how many days, from 2 days all the way to 30 days. And then you could decide what happens when that happens. You want to put it to a more aggressive rule. You want to change your ROI, or is it some? Or you could also go to like the lowest price on that listing. It really depends what you want to do. But our recommendation would be you could use the rule plus min price. Go to a ROI that you're comfortable with. If you really want to move the product, and then you can use the AI sales maximizer if you're really trying to go hard for the sales.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then when none of the above conditions are met, then you can pick the AI sales booster. But what we caution you is you must also set the sub condition. So you're setting this up when you don't have that many units sold. Because if you're selling units at a higher price, then just sell it at the higher price. Like, you don't have to sell at the lowest price. So if there's a lot of demand for the product, then we don't want you to lower your price down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be our recommendation. And then for Lucy, like regarding your Halloween candy, what you could do as well, another option is you could go to available stock, available quantity. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how much quantity do you have? So let's say if your available quantity is greater than 50, then you can have it to a specific rule
Mm-hmm.
that you want. And then if it's lower than 50, or let's say it's between 25 and 50, then you can decide have a different rule. Yeah, and then so then depending on the quantity that you have available, the available stock that you send in. So that is another strategy that you could consider for Halloween, and this way you could increase your price if you're selling out the product. So what we see typically is this is, I think, because you're doing a lot of wholesale business, so maybe that could be a potential strategy. We see a lot of wholesalers. They would first get like 100 item, and then they want to sell out quickly first.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to sell at least maybe 50% out, and then so they would put it on a more aggressive strategy. And then once they have an amount that they know that they will definitely sell, then they'll put it to a rule that is more focused on profit, and to slow down their sales. So
and plus you've built up rank at that point as well. And I think also, if you couple your BQool settings, let's say I have an item that's not selling well and I want to set it on my repricer, I will also additionally run advertising campaigns on Amazon. I feel like running advertising campaigns on Amazon coupled with the pricing strategy can really make a winning formula.
Yep, I do too. The next question,
there's enough margins.
Yeah. The next question we have is when something gets returned, does it go back to day 1 or the inventory age continues?
The inventory age is based on the stock in Amazon. So if it gets returned, then it wouldn't go back immediately, right? Like the person, depending, let's say you sell it to a Prime member, and they ask for refund, so they probably get money first, and then they'll ship the product back to Amazon. And then Amazon will decide whether they can, if you want to relist the product, if there's any, defects on the product, or they might even discharge it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So if
it
they
has to,
relist it, does
yeah.
that start it as day one according to how long it's been at Amazon?
It would depend on when the stock comes in. So for the specific question about refunded products going back, I cannot give you a conclusive answer. But
Okay.
what I can tell you is when you ship the product in, and that's when they start measuring. Yeah. So for this specific case, if you're interested, you can also contact our support team to get more question. But this is a more unique one, and
Yeah.
usually refunds will happen right after the holidays. Yeah, especially in December. Yeah, so you actually have higher refunds. So you can actually use our Big Central product, which you can then know which products are profitable or not. There's a profit dashboard, so you can see which products have high returns, and these products that you have. And we also have many pieces about what to do with refund products. Yeah, so you can take a look at that on our BQool blog if you have time.
Next question, will the price be increasing next year for the AI repricer? Do you know?
We can't say for sure, but we have a lot of new features lined up. And, our nearest competitor, they've priced their product, they priced their product 10 times the price. Yeah, for this conditional repricing. And also we have 5 AI rules compared to 1 AI rule. Yeah, so we should increase the price, but the people who lock in, they would be able to keep their plan. They'll be grandfathered in. Yeah, so it's kind of like Amazon or Walmart. And I'm going a little bit off topic, but you want to get started early. So you're grandfathered in. So if you start selling on Walmart early on, then you get a lot of the perks. Yeah, so just like if you start using BQool early, then you would get lots of the perks as well. Yeah.
We have Claire here would like to know, could you share the best setting repricing strategy to have a big profit without compromising sales?
What we would recommend is to use the AI equalizer. And it really depends on that specific ASIN that you're pricing to see the demand for it. But if there's a lot of offers on there, more than maybe 15, then if you want to sell out more, depending on you want more net profit or profit per item. So we would start out with the AI equalizer, and then we might move up to the AI sales booster to go a little bit more aggressive. So that would be a recommendation for you, Claire. Yeah, thanks for the question.
And then one question left from the Facebook group that I don't think we have hit, but what is quickly the difference between the BQool beginner plan that says repricing every 15 minutes and versus the instant? I think you said the instant was every 2 minutes and do either affect the buy box?
Up to 2 minutes. Usually it's around 5 minutes. Yeah, but it's up to 2 minutes. That's as fast as Amazon allows. And then so I actually maybe I could show quickly the difference by just showing the pricing table so people can quickly understand what the difference is. I did prepare this question because that is from the Facebook group. Yeah, so I do have this ready. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I don't know if everyone can see my screen. It's a
I
little
think
bit
we can
small.
see it. I don't think we can read it.
Yeah, you can go to the BQool site for. Actually, let me see what I can do here. I'll try to zoom in here so it's a little bigger. Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna see the main difference when I'm going through the $25 plan, the entry level. One is the repricing speed. Now, why is the repricing speed important? Is what we've noticed with the AI repricing compared to rule-based. The AI will reprice when you use AI repricing. Again, this is how you can tell if you have real AI or if you're using algorithmic rule-based. Like if you use real AI, it will reprice a lot more, often 20 to 30 times more. And you could actually see that in the report. You can see that for that specific item, it'll keep on repricing because it's trying to get the buy box. So with instant repricing, if there's a lot of different offers on here, you're able to have a better chance to get into the buy box. And sometimes if you get in there just for a few minutes, you might get a lot more sales. So that's the benefit of the instant repricing compared to rule-based. And then the more important option here is also, you'll notice that for the rule-based, you have 1,000 listings, whereas for the $100 plan, you get 10,000, even 11,000 listings. So of course, it really depends on how many listings that you have. But the important part is you get 1,000 AI and also CR listings. So for the $100 plan, you have access to the AI repricer. The $25 one does not have access to it. But if you're on the $50 plan, then you will have access to it. But you only get maybe 10 AI just kind of just to try out, so you can see it really works for you. But the most important thing, if you haven't tried BQool, is to just try it for the 14-day free trial. Then it doesn't cost you anything. And then only invest in the software if you see a boost in your sales, such as what Lucy and Tina has done before. And then we do have special promo here for the audience, and it's the 14-day free trial for the community. And this is loading, so let's just let it wait. And then also, if you were one of the people who commented on here, the special promo is this: you get $25 off the $100. So that's 25% off to try out the 1,000 AI and CR listing using the settings that we showed you. And we'll also invite you to an exclusive onboarding webinar so that you can really just get kickstarted exactly step-by-step how to do all the setup. And we also have the live chat support from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Eastern time zone, which will cover most of your work time, as well as a new support site with most of the questions as well. And you can also email us at support@bqool.com. Usually we would ask you to take a screenshot at the ASIN that you have some issue with, or in that case earlier, the inventory lab, is not showing up, then they could actually email us. So we have a lot of different support options. Yeah, and we have this available for the reseller mom, and we're limiting it to 5. We have 5 people who contact reseller mom or Tina, and you need to be a member of the online Selling with Tina, and follow them on YouTube for sure, and then you'll be eligible to get the $25 off for 1 month of repricer, and then you can actually earn more money. So definitely, and make sure to follow us on YouTube as well, so you get more tips. How do you reprice in specific scenarios? So that is what we have available. Yeah, we really appreciate it.
I think what we'll do for those 5, Tina, if you agree, we'll let it go for. Let's see here. Do you want to have everybody just message in Facebook, or do you want to create a post in Facebook?
Yeah, I can create a post in Facebook.
Okay. And that they will have needed to either comment here or comment in the chat. And how long do you want to let it run so that people can watch the replay? 2 days, 3 days? You're on the spot, girl.
I'm not as sharp in the evening as I am in the morning.
We'll let it run till Sunday night. How about that?
Sounds good. Night, yeah, because it is Friday. I'm like, what's the day today? It's Friday.
There's going to be a Facebook post. You need to watch the video here. Make sure you either have commented. You guys have already, most of you have commented. But if you're watching the replay, you need to comment down below. Please, please, please go subscribe to both Tina, me, and BQool. And then on the Facebook, go ahead and comment that you want to be entered for the $25 off. And we will do a one of those rando generator thingamabobs on.
And this, of course, is for people who don't have BQool yet.
Yes. This is for if you want to try out and you're new to BQool. We will raffle off those five giveaways on Sunday night, and we'll post the winners as well
Yeah.
in Facebook.
And that's perfect because it's over the weekend.
Yeah, and then that way everybody, because I know some people were saying that this was pretty late for East Coast, and so I want to make sure that they get a chance to watch. Because some people go to bed. I mean, I don't know what they do, but I mean, they go to bed, and I don't go to bed very well. We have 2 quick questions, and then we'll wrap this up really quick. Is it okay if they have 2 listings, one that's FBM, one that's FBA? How does that affect the repricing?
That's a good question, and it could possibly be from like your advanced seller. So what he's talking about is sometimes during Q4, people will send part of their shipment into Amazon, and the other ones they'll do merchant fulfilled, and then so they will have one ASIN with multiple listing, one FBA, one FBM, and then this way, when for that ASIN they have maybe 2 chance of winning the buy box, and this is legal. This is totally legal. It's kind of gray, but it's legal. Yeah, Amazon allows this. So the way that BQool will has auto compete, so it will not compete against yourself. So if let's say there's one FBM seller, you have the FBA listing, and you are maybe position number 2, and then the FBM seller is position number 3. So the FBM seller, position number 3, when they're repricing, it would actually reprice against position number 1, your actual competitor. So we know that you are the same person, and we will not compete against yourself. To answer your question, so yeah, if that is your strategy for Q4, yeah, go ahead, yeah, and the reason they do this is because they have 2 different pricing. One is for FBA, which is cheaper, and then one is more expensive because they have to pay the fees. And then the other is for FBM, which is a cheaper price because they don't have to pay as much Amazon fees. So that is a reason they would do something like that. Yeah.
We have Nate asks, what would be the best rule to use with small and light? And I'll just say I do a lot of small and light, and I just make sure that my maximum is $9.99, so I don't ever go over that price point of getting kicked out of the small and light. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that, Samuel.
Yeah, I agree with Lucy. And then for small and light, they have to be a certain dimension, less than $10. And you also, a lot of people, they like to buy the small and light because with Prime, because they still get the free shipping for the small and light. So I would say with the small and light, they could definitely use the AI repricer. And again, they will look at the demand and supply. I wouldn't, I would just price it within $9.99 as you mentioned. But I wouldn't do things too differently. But I do know that the shipment cost will be different. Yeah, so they will have to factor that when they're setting their mins and max. Yeah.
Cynthia asks if there's any specs for a laptop or PC that BQool needs to run for more fast. Sometimes it feels like you go down a lot. I don't have any specifics, but I run fast computers, so I don't have that. Do you have any operating requirements for running the software?
I think the software it's browser based, right? So I think it's really important to have fast internet, especially during the Q4. So if you use Ethernet, like if you use an Ethernet cable, then it would help with the connection. Also, like what I could think of, definitely it's designed for, let's say, for Windows. Yeah. So also for Mac as well. Yeah, for Safari, also for Chrome, and different browsers. But I think it's more important for your internet connection. Yeah. So if you're it, and then what you could do to test the internet connection, it's not about. You could go to a speed test, and you can see what kind of internet connection that you are getting. Yeah, and then, but if you continue to have issues, and you already have fast internet, then contact our support team and we can take a look at it. Is sometimes you might have other third party, like for example, if you have a lot of Chrome extensions, like for example, I use some of them, like the Keepa extension, other extensions you might use. You might use like, Rev ROI, Rev Seller, Seller Amp, different ones, right? And then so it would definitely slow down the computer a little bit. Yeah, so you could try to close those as well. But I think our support site might have something that is more dedicated to that, or you could actually contact our support team for the best setup.
Yeah, definitely. And then last comment is Nate wants a BQool t-shirt. I kind of want a BQool t-shirt too. But I looked and
right?
you don't sell them. You don't sell them on there and you don't sell them on Amazon. What's up with
Look,
that?
I got a Cricut. I can make a bootleg one.
I'm gonna put one on my merch by Amazon store. Sell one to Nate. Nate and I can be walking around in BQool shirts.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we can look into that. We'll look more into that, and then to see if there is a demand, and then we could send it into Amazon, right? And then we could ship it from Amazon.
It
Yeah,
could
and
make
then
free giveaway.
yeah,
The only
free
problem
giveaway or something. Yeah.
is they might be like, if you've ever worn a red shirt into Target, if you're scanning, it might be like that. If you wear it out to a convention or something, people might start asking you questions about how to do this and how to do that.
Yeah, you can definitely be our brand ambassador, right?
Yeah, there you go.
You could take my job. Yeah. So, but if you're really interested, we can think of something. Yeah, and then if there's a large interest for the shirts, yeah, we can produce a lot of them, and then we can ship them. We can sell them, and yeah, we'll see how that works. Yeah, but thank you. Thanks.
Just set it up as a merch store. It'd be good.
Yeah, we could do that. Talk to the team about that. If there's enough interest. Yeah.
You got two sales already. Well,
All right.
Thank you so much for coming on, Samuel. It is always good to learn kind of the back end and learn how this stuff works so that you can use it to the best of your advantage. It's no good owning a hammer if you don't know how to work it. So thank you for coming on and enlightening us with all of the things that BQool has to offer. If you haven't checked them out yet, I highly suggest the 14-day free trial. You can test it out, see how it works. Just make sure your minimums are not too, don't set your minimums to 0 or you can get into a lot of trouble.
Yes.
But other than that, it is super easy to set up and get linked to Inventory Lab, and it's very user friendly. And so thank you for coming on, and we will see you around.
Thank
you. Yeah, thanks a lot, Lucy and Tina, and thank you for the wonderful audience. And for all the people
we do
who
have the
are
nicest
action takers.
people.
Yeah.
We do. We have the nicest audience.
We do. Yes.
We do.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. It's nice seeing everybody's faces, well, your avatars or your names in the chat. I love seeing everybody there. And if you guys have any questions on the replay or any other, questions in general, please go ahead and post them in the Facebook group, because we can't answer everything today. And yes, you can also just directly contact Samuel. I will say that every time I have contacted the team, they have gotten back to me with good information. They take care of their customers for sure, and they do help you out, which is awesome and why we love working with them. All right.
Thanks
Take care and have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right. Bye-bye. Good night.